Welcome to the channel. My name is Coach and I've been watching a lot of wrestling over the past 2 weeks. Well, I always watch a lot of wrestling, but I've been trying to expand my horizon a bit, watch different shows that I don't usually watch. I started watching AAA about a month and a half ago, and now I watch it every single week because it's just that good. And tonight I want to start checking out AEW again. Last time I actually watched AEW was like a year ago, maybe a year and a half, I'm not sure. It was when MJF dressed up as a Mexican wrestler. He was basically the original El Grande Americano. They were in Mexico. A lot of stuff happened. I don't exactly remember that show. All I remembered is a lot of the fans were just a bit insufferable online, and I didn't keep going. But back then, I wasn't really looking to watch a new show. I was just checking AEW out to check out AEW. But now I'm actually looking for new shows to watch, consistently watch. So I'm here, I'm back. I'm gonna see what AEW is all about right now. Also, it's worth noting before we start, I don't watch the show consistently. What I know from AEW is the occasional posts on Reddit and the occasional posts I see on my feed on Instagram. That's all I know about AEW outside of, following some of the wrestlers I really like. So if I don't know all the stories, stick with me for a few weeks. I'll catch up quickly. Anyways, the show begins with MJF arriving at the arena. He's trying to be interviewed by Renee, but he doesn't answer and he walks to the parking lot. And it took me a moment to realize what's happening, what are we doing? And then I realized everybody's bald. Everybody he interacted with is bald. And that was really funny because he's having a match with Darby Allin for the AEW Championship where if he loses, he has to go bald. And when that clicked for me, it was like, oh, this is actually a really funny segment. I really like this. Why don't we get more comedy stuff like this? It wasn't on the nose, but it was very on the nose. They didn't push it until he interacted with Ricochet, which is being an asshole, which is a very Ricochet thing. But yeah, I really liked this opening. It was funny and it was a good open to the show. Then we transitioned into a massive 5-on-5 tag team match. Last time I watched it, it was a 6-on-6 tag team match that opened the show. So is this just the trend in AEW, opening it with a massive multi-man tag team match? Well, the match consisted of Edge and Christian and the Young Bucks and their partner, Orange Cassidy, going up against FTR, Tommaso Ciampa, and the Dogs. Now this also was a really solid matchup. I really enjoyed it. So many fun spots, man. Last time I watched the Young Bucks, they were doing this thing where they were broke and then they were rich or whatever, long time ago. Don't hold me to it. But this version of the Young Bucks, I like it. Sometimes the original just works. Sometimes what got you popular just works. This is my favorite version of the Young Bucks. So this match is primarily to build up towards FTR versus Edge and Christian, or Adam Copeland and Christian, as they're facing for the World Tag Team Championships. Obviously, I'm rooting for Adam Copeland and Christian. No reason besides I just want to see legends win. I just want to see a legendary tag team win the belts again. Some of the fun and memorable spots during this match is the Young Bucks getting everybody inside of the ring to do a super kick, or they super kicked everybody. Everybody tried to attack the Young Bucks and they just kept avoiding it, so the people started taking out each other by accident, and then the Young Bucks just finished everybody out. They tagged in Christian. Christian couldn't do a super kick, so he just low blowed Clark Connors, was it? I can't remember exactly who it was. The match ends though as everybody dives off of the top rope onto their opponents, followed by Christian hitting his finisher and then picking up the victory for his team. So no, it was Edge hitting his finisher and picking up the victory for his team. So I'm very excited for this match. I know it is next weekend, right? Double or Nothing is next weekend. I'm not too familiar about the build, what exactly is going on, but I want to see Adam Copeland and Christian win those belts. Also not the biggest fan of FTR, so it all works in my favor here, actually. Then we have a massive amount of backstage segments. Will Ospreay is shown training with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Now, I know some controversy surrounding this. I know that a lot of people were not happy with how quickly this evolved and the way it was all set up. I have the benefit of not knowing or not watching all of that, so I can just enjoy what I'm seeing. And Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay teaming up, I think it's pretty cool. Now, I don't like the Death Riders in general, but it's Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay. If I just look at them two teaming up together or having an alliance, it's all good. It's not a massive deal. It's two stars teaming up together. I'm fine with it. Death Riders are basically just background characters, and again, I like it. I think it's cool. We also have Ricochet and Chris Jericho packaged where they're talking about their feud. So let me try and get this right. Chris Jericho doesn't have any friends in AEW right now, and Ricochet and his team wants to face him in a stadium Stampede match. They want to face him in the match he created. Now, since Chris Jericho doesn't really have friends, Ricochet does have a lot of enemies, and he collected a bunch of Ricochet's enemies to team with him. So he collected Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin to team with him. He collected Jack Perry. Jack Perry also brought Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to team up with him. So that is Sorry, I just hit my mic. And that is Chris Jericho's team. A pretty stacked team. One of my all-time favorites, one of my top favorite wrestlers, Bobby Lashley, is in this. So you know I'm excited for this. And then we also have Ricochet going backstage saying that he also collected a bunch of teams. He has Mark Davis on his team. I don't know a lot about the guy. He seems cool. They also says that he collected the Dogs simply because the Dogs are rivals to the Young Bucks. So all fine and cool. He says he also talked to his fellow bald boy, Don Callis, and he got Andrade El Idolo to be in this match. What does Andrade have to do with all of this? I have absolutely no clue. But hey, again, like I said, we'll figure out as time goes along. Give me some grace. All in all, I'm excited for this match. A bunch of fun competitors. I can see this being a really exciting match. Like, I did watch the first Stadium Stampede. I used to watch AEW consistently back then. It was an incredibly fun match. So seeing this will be my second one. It's not the second one in general, but it will be my second one. Seeing it should be really fun. Plus, there's a lot of good wrestlers and a lot of people I like in it. So all in all, should be fine. Then our next match, Speedball Mike Bailey goes up against a local competitor named Westbrook, and he just defeats Westbrook. What more is there to say? I can't say a lot about this match besides Westbrook did an atrocious botch. If this was your one time on television, you're not getting hired, buddy. I'm sorry. That botch, whatever you tried to do at the ropes, did not land. Good luck on your future endeavors. Speedball wins the match. His tag team partner, the TNT champion Kevin Knight, gets into the ring, and we immediately transition to the TNT Open Challenge, which is accepted by Brian Cage, making his return in 14 months, I believe. Yeah, his first match in 14 months. Now, you would think Brian Cage coming back in 14 months, you want to make a big deal out of it. You want to see, hey, he's back, he's jacked, he's here. No, but okay, I guess if you don't have anything in mind for Brian Cage, I won't blame you because he's not that top level superstar. This was as good as a way to reintroduce him. I just thought that maybe you'd want to push him, build him up, say he's back. Doesn't matter, right? I don't care about Brian Cage enough to make a big deal out of it. Kevin Knight picks up the victory. A really solid match. I really like Kevin Knight. That finisher move, I don't remember the name of it. I just searched it up, the UFO splash. Really, really cool finish. I really liked it. I remember Kevin Knight almost got signed to NXT but rejected their offer. I was really upset with that because he looked cool. I did search up some of his matches after that and I thought, hey, NXT, you really fumbled. And yeah, they really fumbled. You missed out on Kevin Knight. I really like him. Now, after the match, Mike Bailey congratulates Knight, and this interaction between the two of them felt very forced. I don't know what it was, but the acting here was not particularly good. Now, I can't blame them, right? Some wrestlers just aren't good actors. That's why you have managers for. Now, it just didn't feel very fluid. I don't know if this is how they are all the time, but for what it's worth, I did not feel like this was very natural. Speedball says he wants to go after the AEW championship next, so I assume that's gonna happen next week since Darby Allin is just facing everybody under the sun for that championship at this point. It's probably gonna end them eventually, but yeah, I'm sorry, Mike Bailey, but really, you want to go face Darby Allin? Like, I know you faced a lot more tougher competitors before, but 1 week you're facing Westbrook and the next week you're facing Darby Allin. Seems like a very big jump. Now, he's not gonna win, I know, and I'm not gonna look too deeply into this. I'm getting too much in my head. Screw it. Gonna be a fun match. Kinda makes sense since he's won like what, 9 out of his 10 last matches, maybe more. Don't exactly remember the statistics, but it was a lot. So he does have the momentum going into this match against a very beat up Darby Allin. But just saying again, really like Kevin Knight. I'm massive on the guy. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk about this a lot because it's just a bunch of matches, but it's the announcement of the Owen Hart Foundational Tournament bracket. It got revealed. So the men's bracket is Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland versus Bandito, Jack Perry versus Mark Davis, and Claudio Castagnoli versus Brody King. And the women's bracket is Willow Nightingale versus Alex Windsor, Mina Shirakawa versus Athena, Sky Blue versus Sari, and Persephone versus Hazuki. I really like Persephone. I know she's not going to win this, but man, I'm very big on her. I would really like if she got the push. So many, like, what do we call them, bigger women's names, more pushed women's names in this match, so I doubt it, but she would be my ideal pick. Again, I don't know the women's division so good, but I would assume it's either Willow Nightingale or Athena who wins this. On the other hand though, for the men's tournament, Will Ospreay feels like a solid pick to win this, but also Swerve Strickland. I don't know, like again, watching this for the first time in ages, I can't make an accurate pick because I'm only going off of favorites. Or Brody King, he could also win. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. So yeah, I can't say a lot about this. The matches are going to be good, like a lot of the competitors. I'm excited for this, and I have a few people I would like to win. And we catch up back with Will Ospreay. He's going up against a match with Ace Austin. You remember in TNA how everybody said when he first debuted that he was going to be the next AJ Styles? Man, how far the mighty have fallen. Now this match very much focuses on Will Ospreay getting his spine and his neck attacked by Ace Austin because he had surgery and stuff on that. Glad he's better now. That was the main story of the match. But Will Ospreay does win with a submission, which he was taught through by earlier. I believe it was the same submission that Jon Moxley taught him earlier. Ace Austin taps out pretty much immediately. After the match though, his enemies come walking down. Samoa Joe's music plays and he's with the Ops. A really fun faction. I liked him. Samoa Joe is just so intimidating. He has, I'm not gonna say aura, that word is so overused, but he has a certain presence to him where it's like, oh shit, here's Samoa Joe. Like he just gives off badass vibes. Now he says he's not going to attack Will Ospreay tonight, but he's not gonna let his boys stop from attacking him, so they start going down to the ring. Luckily, the rest of the Death Riders come out to have Will Ospreay's back. You have this cool shot of Will Ospreay at the front, Jon Moxley at the back. Really like that. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I really like this Jon Moxley Will Ospreay thing. I don't know where it's going. I hope it doesn't lead to them breaking up immediately because I would like to see them, stay a team for a while. Maybe not Will Ospreay being in the Death Riders forever, but then again, tell me AEW fans, what do you think about it? Moving on backstage, MJF is trying to strike a deal with Don Callis. He wants to make sure Darby Allin does not win in the main event, so he gives Don Callis his Dynamite Diamond ring to use during this match. Then Andrade just comes up to MJF and waves his luscious hair in MJF's face. I thought that was really funny. Whatever Andrade is doing, like he just seemed like he's just doing whatever side quests he can in AEW at this point. Again, my only perception is this week, but what he was doing with Ricochet, what he's doing here with MJF, it just feels like he's just around. He's just doing whatever the fuck he feels like, which is fun, I guess. Then we have a women's match. It is the Triangle of Madness, which is Thekla, Julie Hart, and Sky Blue going up against Hikaru Shida and the Brawling Birds, which is Jamie Hayter and Alex Wintour. This was a fun match. I can't really say a lot about this. I haven't really attached myself to a story to this specific match, so there is not a lot for me to go off. It was just a 6-on-6 tag team match, two of the members of which are going to be facing Thekla for that championship at Double or Nothing. So I guess there was some story here for me to attach to, but we're gonna build up. The match ends in disqualification after Thekla starts attacking people for a belt, but luckily Willow Nightingale, Thunder Rosa, and Mina Shirakawa come down to the ring to try and stop this all. So there was a lot of women here, but not a lot of particular story for me to attach to. Again, I'm not one of those people that says AEW has no stories. AEW does have stories. It's just in this particular match, I felt really difficult to attach to what was really happening here. But again, that's just me. Excited to see in the women's division next week. Women's wrestling is my favorite part of wrestling in general, so I did enjoy this. Good match. Then we head to the main event, which is Takeshita versus Darby Allin for the AEW Championship. And while this match was fun and good, they did show some clips from last week's match, I believe, where he was facing Pac, or maybe I'm mistaken, and it was at a golf course. And I was like, damn, I should have gone back a week and watched last week, because that match seems really fun. Nothing against tonight's match, right? Really solid physical match. Kind of wish I saw that match instead, but I will go back and watch this because I didn't know that happened, and I'm really interested in seeing that. For tonight, the main event was a really solid matchup. I loved the finish where Takeshita was in a submission and he grabbed the ropes. Darby Allin immediately let him go, got into the top rope, did the coffin drop, went to the other rope, did a coffin drop again, and picked up the victory. He also bled really rough during this match from his mouth. A lot of people got busted open tonight, which is weird. You don't see that in WWE a lot. At least in their mouth. Anyway, Darby Allin retains your championship. Also during the match, Don Callis gave Takeshita the Dynamite Diamond Ring, but he refused to use it. So is there trouble between Takeshita and Don Callis? I don't know. Well, that's something to keep an eye on next week. Also, I won't be watching Collision. I'm only watching Dynamite. I'm not going to throw myself into the deep end without knowing if I actually want to watch the show. Anyways, immediately after the match, Darby Allin tells people to get a table in the ring, get chairs. He wants to sign that contract with MJF now. And as you can predict, right, a very heated rivalry, and the world champion just had a championship match and he's exhausted and he's calling out his opponent. You know what happens in such places? You get viciously attacked. Now, MJF goes on a whole rant. He loves hearing himself talk. He signs the contract and then he starts beating down Darby Allin. I don't think any of us saw that coming, right? Wow, a shocker. But it was good, right? He hit him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, which he took back, stood tall with the championship. Yeah, great match, great main event. All in all, to say, kind of just sucks because I was like, all during this match, I was like, damn, I wonder what happened in next week's match. So I was taken out by that, but that's my own fault. That's my own fault for being distracted by the past. And the whole segment afterwards, really great way to end off the show. I really do hope MJF loses and has to cut his hair. Maybe you can do a storyline where he refuses to cut his hair and like people are chasing him with scissors trying to cut his hair or whatever. Some silly ass wrestling stuff, right? I don't know, but I want MJF to lose because I think there's a lot of fun storytelling potential there. On the other hand, I don't know if MJF would be cool with it. I know he's a trooper, so maybe he would be. But if he's not, it would suck for Darby Allin to lose his championship so quickly because he hasn't held it for that long, but he has had a very tough reign. Maybe that's why they had so many people facing him for the championship to say like, hey, you might have lost the championship in like a few months, but at least you had like 1,500 title defenses. Who knows? I'm conflicted. I don't know who's gonna win, but I would like Darby Allin to win. Again, just a casual fan, so I can't really make an accurate prediction based off of what happens on a week-to-week basis. But that is AEW for tonight. And for a first impression, some stuff I didn't get, but that's my own fault, right? You don't get everything if you don't watch a show consistently. You're always gonna be confused when you watch a new show. So for what it was tonight, I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. There was a lot of funny stuff, a lot of cool stuff. The fans, so much better than WWE fans. And I know that's because a lot of WWE fans are casual and rich people who don't really care about wrestling since casual fans have been priced out. But AEW's fans are just so much better. Like every every person who didn't really matter got cheered. Like, what was his name? Clark Connors? I'm pretty sure he got a reaction from the crowd, and that would never happen in WWE now. I don't care about Clark Connors, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is my first thoughts on AEW, watching it for the first time in like a year or year and a half. Good show, really enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna check it out next week. Well, I have to, right? Next week's gonna be 3 hours, man. I try to get away from WWE because I don't want to watch 3-hour wrestling, and when I tune into a new show, I have to watch 3 hours of wrestling, man. No, not gonna hold it against AEW, right? I know. It's silly to complain about because like it's a one-time thing. It's not a consistent thing, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm gonna have to watch 3 hours of Dynamite next week and then a pay-per-view. So if you want to see my opinion on that, you should leave a like and subscribe. I cover NXT, Evolve, and AAA every single week. Sometimes I cover TNA, but I kind of dropped that, which is why I'm searching for new wrestling shows. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and check me out again soon. Goodbye, everyone.